Hello everyone and welcome to this new tutorial. On this tutorial we will see how we can scrape images using Python. So the website that we will be using is unsplash.com. If you are not familiar with this website, so this website provides great quality images for free, as you can see right here. And the goal of this tutorial is to scrape or download these images with their full quality. Basically, we don't want to lose any quality along the way. We want them to be downloaded as if we did that manually. And for that, we'll be using Selenium. If you are not familiar with Selenium, so Selenium is basically a browser automation tool. It's used for test purposes as well as web scraping. So setting Selenium up for beginners can be a bit challenging, and for that we will be using WebDriver Manager. I will link this link on the description. And what this allows us to do is to set up Selenium in an easy way. So let's get started. First thing first, I will go to my text editor of choice, which is VS Code. I will create a new file that I will call unsplash scraper.py, and we can start out work. If I go back to this page of the WebDriver Manager, we can see it provides some templates for us, which in our case we will be using Firefox. You can use any one of them, and you will be using Selenium 4. So if I copy this and paste it, we can see it requires Selenium and WebDriver Manager. So let's install them. If I go to my terminal, I can type pip install Selenium and WebDriver Manager, as well as requests. And for all of you who are familiar with web scraping, you may be asking why requests if we have Selenium installed. I will explain that when we get to it. Okay, so I want my install to go to a specific Python version, so I will explicitly define it, Python 3.10-m, and I will hit enter. As you can see, for my case, all is satisfied. Now let's go back to the scraper. So we imported these 3 packages. Let's import another one, which is okay, so from selenium.webdriver.common.by import the by class. You will also need the time model, and you will also need requests. So let's pass to the coding bit. In case you are not familiar with Selenium at all, so basically what these lines of code and this one right here allows us to do is to create this driver, which is an instance of a browser. You will see when that pops up. So whenever we create a browser, we always would like to close it so that it doesn't stay in memory. .close. And in here we can explicitly tell it to go to a specific URL, which in our case is the unsplash URL. I will copy it and I will paste it in here, and then we will tell the driver to get it like this. And so that you can see the pop-up of the browser, because it will create a new browser and open it. It will go to this URL and then it will immediately close. We want our scraper to stay hanging for, or should I say pause it for a couple of seconds, let's say 10 seconds. I will save this one and I will run my script. In my case, I'll be using Python 3.10, but I believe for you, you will just be using Python. And then the name of the script, and I will click run. And note how a Firefox browser will pop up depending. Okay, I think I have a problem. Maybe it's an internet problem. Yeah, so I had internet problem. Let me clear this and rerun the script once again. And we can see this pops up and it goes to the given URL. And note here there is a robot, and that indicates that we are controlling this browser. Now after 10 seconds this browser will close automatically. Okay, great. So everything is great till now. Okay, so now what we want to do is let's separate our script to two main sections. The first one is, let's call this get URLs, because what you want to do is first of all to get the URLs of all the images that you want to scrape and then download them, so that when you are rechecking this it's easy for you. Get URLs of images maybe. Now let's get the URLs of the images. If we go back to our website, we right click on any image and then we inspect the element. If I click on this icon and click on the image again, we can see that we have an image tag with this class, basically YV in uppercase and then G lowercase 9 W lowercase. Let me copy this and let me hit Command F or Control F for Windows, and then in here let me try and write the XPath for this element. So we have an image and with a class, and we can see that we have 24 elements. Let me copy this XPath and get back to our script. Now let's tell the driver to get all elements with that XPath, and for that we use the find elements method. So let me first comment this because we don't need it for now at least. And what we can do is let's create a new list, call it images tags equal to our driver dot find elements, and note here it says elements and not element because we want all of them, not just one. And in here as first element we will pass the byte that we imported dot XPath because we want to get them using XPath, and in here we pass the XPath of the element. So if we are correct, we should, after running our script, we should find all of them in here. So let's test out by printing the length of this list. I will save it and let's run it once again. And as you can see, we have 24, meaning that we are correct. So we said that we want the URLs. So if we go back to this page, what you are getting now are the tags, meaning the tags of the image class right here, of the image tag basically. If I remove this, basically we are getting all these images tags, basically the HTML, let's say, which is this entire one. But what we want is just the, where is it? Yes, this one. The source attribute, which is this, if I can click on it, which is this one right here, because if I copy this and then open it in a new browser, we can see our image. So this is the URL. It's located in the src attribute, and that's what we want to get. If we go here, let's remove this for now and let's create a new list. Let's call it images URLs, and in here I'll be using a list comprehension. I will say image for image in images tags, but in here I want to get the attribute. So if you are not familiar with a list comprehension, let me explain this code. So we are looping over each element in this list, for image in this list, we are appending that image dot get attribute. This will get us the URL. So basically we are appending all URLs of all elements in this list, and then we are giving it to this variable right here. So at the end of the day, this images URLs will contain all of, let's say, the URLs of the elements in here. And we can check that by first print, if I can type, print the length of this object. And also let's do something else. Let's print the first 10 elements. Let's say for URL in images URLs, print the URL. I will save that. Let's make this bigger so we can see them. Let me clean this unit, Control L, and let's run our script. And we can see that we got our data back. We can see that we have 24, and we can see that we get our elements in here. So I did try this before, and I found out that for whatever reason some images do pop up in here. What I mean by that is we have all these images that you want to download, but also other images were showing, like the icon and stuff like that. Apparently there are some images, if you scroll down or something like that, you will come across them that have the tag of image and the class this one. Basically the same as the one we are seeing, but they are not among them. They are just other types of images that we don't want. And what I noticed was these images that are the main ones have these images at the start of their URLs. If I go back here, you can see that we have HTTPS, and then we have these images name, basically. So this is something that with experience you will come across, but when scraping from Unsplash, you always need these images to be appeared in the URL of your image. Otherwise you will get other types of images. So to ensure that, for our case, let me get this one down, and let's in here add another condition. We would say if images in this one. So let me explain this one more time. Basically in here we are having the HTML tag of the image, and then we are looping over that list, and we are saving only the URLs if the word image is present in that URL. Like I said, if you don't want to do this condition, just try and scrape as many images as you want, and along the way you will come across some images that are just for the website, are not meant to be downloaded and stuff like that. I hope the explanation was clear. So now that we have our URLs, how we can, okay, so I made a mistake. It should be in here. Okay, now that we got the URLs, how can we download the image, basically? So to do that, what we need to do is we will use requests, this package right here. Okay, I will give you an example on how to download them, and then I will be explaining why we are using requests and not Selenium. So let's say you want to download the first image, this one with this link. So the way we do that is, so we send a request .get, and in here we pass a URL. In our case, it's a URL of an image, the first image, and then we pass as an argument or a second argument the stream equal to true, and the stream must always be equal true when downloading files. And then we will, open a new file, and give it a name, let's say image.jpg, jpg. And you may be asking why jpg and not, for example, png or something like that. That's because I'm familiar with Unsplash, the website, and all their images are in this format. Usually the format of the image, or to say the extension of the image, would appear in the URL, but in this case it doesn't, as you can see right here. So with experience you can check that. So after that we need to specify the mode. In our case it's WB, meaning write in binary, as F. And if you are asking why write binary, so we are going to write to this file because we just created it, and binary because any file is, or should I say images are treated as binary in Python. And then inside of here we will loop over for chunk in response.iter content, and chunk size is 128, and we will write by chunk basically. So to explain this once again, we are sending a request to the URL of the image, and we are keeping the stream true. We want to keep the connection alive. And then we are creating a new file that we called image.jpg. Again, why JPG? That's because I usually download from this website and they know that all their images have this extension. Then we are writing in binary, and then we are, so when we keep the stream true, we get data by chunks. We are looping over these chunks and saving them or writing them to our file. And this is the way how we can save images. So if I save this and I go this and run our script, notice here how we will get a new file, image.jpg. If I click on it, we can see that we get our image. And if we open this image on a file, we can see that this image has a great quality. We don't have any quality lost. So now how can we scrape the rest of the images? To do that it's easy. We can just loop over them. So for the URL in this images, okay, what just happened? So for URL in images URLs, we will take this URL and place it in here. However, we need to change another thing, and that's the name. How can we ensure that the names are different? Because if we don't do that, all of our file, or they say images, will be saved in the same name. So to do that, let's add the index. And to add the index, we'll use the enumerate class, which is this one. And in here, I will be using a string, like so. And since the index starts with 0, I will add 1 to each. And now, okay, let's delete this one. And let's say we don't want to have all of them. We just want to have the first 10 images. Okay, so now run my script. And notice here how the images will start appearing. So image 1, image 2, image 3, 4, 5, and so on. Unless there is a mistake. Okay, I believe there is a mistake. Oh yes, the mistake is in the naming. Sorry about that. it always need to end with the extension. So I will save that. I will delete all of these and run it once again. I will put this aside so you can notice the images coming in, and we can see image 1, 2, 3, 4, and the scraper is gone. And if we click on them, we can see that we have different images. And if I go to basically the finder, we can see all of them in here. There is the first one, another one, another one, and all of them have great quality, as you can see. The other thing I want to talk about is when we first run our script. Let me comment this for now, because we don't really care about it. So, like I said in the beginning, when we run our script, we only had 24 products, if you remember. So if I print this, print the length of it, and then save. Okay, I'm not gonna download anything, and I'm not getting the URLs, I'm just getting the tags. I want to show you something very important. So Control L to clear this, and they want to run our script. Okay, it appears, and then it goes. You can see that we only have 24 images. But if I go to the website, and let me close this because we don't need it, we can see that at the beginning, if you count them, you will find just 24. But when you go or scroll down, more and more images appear. Same case as in Facebook or Instagram or wherever. The images load when you scroll down, basically. And this is a dynamic website. So how can we get more than just 24? How can we get 100, 200 images? What we need to do is, when our scraper opens this URL, before getting the images, it needs to scroll down. So how can we achieve that? Let's go to our text editor, and in here, before getting the images, we need to scroll down. Okay. In here, we need to scroll down. So how can we scroll down? Let me copy and paste the code for you so we don't lose time, and I will explain it. Here is the code. So the way we can scroll down is using this line alone. Driver that executes script, and then we are telling it to go to the window, scroll to, and in here we are telling it where to scroll to. We are saying that on the X, stay in your position. We don't want to go on the X, but on the Y, scroll by this variable height, which is this one here. And if you follow the script, you can see that the variable height has 0 value, and then in here it has 0 plus 500, meaning 500 in here, and then it will sleep for a second and repeat that 15 times, meaning it will, first of all, it will scroll to 500, then to 1000, then to 1500, and so on. This is a hack, let's say, on how we can scroll down using Selenium. You will see on other tutorials like people scrape to the entire web page in here. And the reason I'm not doing that is because, from my experience, when you are scraping down on websites that have a lot of images or PDFs or stuff like that loading, same in our case, it will take some time. So if we keep scrolling down, let's say by force, they may not show up. So let me save this, and you may be asking why 15. I just put in here 15, and why 500? That's just an example as well. You can here put 500, 600, 700, wherever, and in here 15 will get you a center number. But let's say you want to get more than that, you would put in here 20 and stuff like that. So let me run this and you will check this together. So Notice where my cursor is. I'm not the one who is scrolling down. My cursor is out of the window. It's being scrolled automatically, and it will scroll for 15 times because our loop tells that. And then if we go here, you can see that now we have 71 products, or let's say photos. At first we only had 24, and let's put this time 20 just to test out that you will get more. If I run this, and it will scroll down by 520 times. So let's wait for it to finish. And as you can see, this time we get 83 images. We didn't obviously save any because we commented the code for that. I just want to show you how we can, for example, scrape all the website. We would put a very large number in here, and this 500, maybe you want to put 1000, so it goes double, and all of that. So this method is, let me uncomment this. So this method is how we can download or scrape images the best way, because it will preserve 100% of the quality. We are not screenshotting or doing any of that. We are literally saving it as we do manually. And one final thing is, why did we use requests instead of Selenium? Because the whole thing is in Selenium, it will make sense if this one too would be in Selenium. And the reason for that is requests is faster than Selenium, and sometimes it can be very, very fast than Selenium, which is the case that we have in here. Because what requests does is send an HTTP request to the server, get back the image, and immediately hand it to us. But Selenium at first need to load that image in the browser before giving it to us. So it makes sense to use something faster like requests. However, requests can't get the images URLs because they are being loaded dynamically, and that's why we needed Selenium. So this is one of those hacks that you will learn along the way when you start to combine and work with different stuff. Okay, so I hope you got something out of it. If you have any question or something, please comment it. I will be leaving the code in description. And thank you for watching, and I hope that you subscribe to my channel. Thank you.